Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Rod Hemden.
And I'm Janice.
This is Quick Study Television, a program designed to take you through the Bible from Genesis to Revelation in 1 year. And it is exciting because that Bible is relevant now. And we're going to be looking at that today as we continue to go through it. One of the people helping us do this is Corey. Corey, what's up?
Today we are going to be jumping ahead just a little bit and looking into the Old Testament book of the prophet Isaiah.
And then Janice is here to study with us. So what did you put together?
Today we're going to take a look at Solomon chapter 6, verse 13.
All right, verse 13, excellent. Now, Ryan is here to tell us what's going on. Ryan, what's happening?
Well, today we're talking about the Big Bang Theory and the Bible. Can these two accounts be reconciled?
The Big Bang Theory and the Bible, I love it. It's all coming up. And later on in the teaching segment, we're going to put this together for you so you can understand it. We belong to God, and He belongs to us. All that and more coming up. Get ready and get studying.
Today we are finishing up our study in the book of Song of Solomon, and over the weekend we're going to be jumping into the book of Isaiah. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek, and we're going to be peering into this book of Isaiah and discussing its authorship and history. The book of Isaiah claims to be written by the prophet Isaiah during the reigns of 4 kings of Judah, beginning with the year King Uzziah died and ending some point during Hezekiah's reign. Hebrew tradition adds some interesting, though so far unverifiable, information about this prophet. The Bible tells us that he was the son of Amoz, and tradition tells us that Amoz was the brother of King Amaziah. That would mean that Isaiah and King Uzziah were cousins. If true, this would add an interesting clarification to 2 Chronicles 26 that credits Isaiah with writing an entire history of the reign of King Uzziah. This paints a picture of a man of royal blood occupying an official court position until his call to be a prophet at the end of his cousin's administration. The contents of the book of Isaiah are amazing. From historical events recorded to individuals mentioned, the history checks out. Many discoveries in archaeology have verified Isaiah's credibility as an historian. But there has been one argument that may never be solved definitively: the fight over authorship. The book itself, all biblical references, and all historic tradition name Isaiah as the singular author of the book of Isaiah. If you believe that there is a God who knows all things and speaks to men, then the whole book being credited to Isaiah makes perfect sense. However, if you're a skeptic, then there is no way you can accept Isaiah as author. He prophesies with exact detail events that happened hundreds of years after his life, so there must be another author. The problem with this view is that there is no evidence that supports it. Even when claims of evidence are made, those are easily explained to support the Isaiah as author theory. As we transition from the book Song of Solomon to the book of Isaiah, we're not only making a leap in literary genre, we're going from wisdom literature to a book of prophecy that it also contains history. We're also making a time gap, a time jump here. So in the book Song of Solomon, we are in the time period of King Solomon. That's around 900 to 1000 BC. He is the third king of Israel, and Israel is still a united kingdom. It hasn't split into northern Israel and southern Judah yet under King Solomon. Now, as soon as we turn that page and we move into the book of Isaiah, Isaiah earmarks it for us. He tells us in whose reigns he's actually going to be writing. So what that does for us is it helps us identify back in the book of Kings and Chronicles where we are on this king timeline timeline, if you will, and we are a few generations removed, healthy generations removed from King Solomon. So that kind of sets up our historical bearings. Now, Isaiah is living in a very different time period than King Solomon. King Solomon had widespread peace. He had economic stability. Not the case with Isaiah. We see a faltering northern Israel. Israel's about to fall, and we see a morally weakened Judah.
The Song of Solomon tells the narrative of the Shulamite, the beloved, and the daughters of Jerusalem, plus the relative. Now, the Shulamite assumes the position of one seeking the Lord God Almighty. It is the Shulamite that Jewish rabbis, and most scholars actually, feel represents believers in Messiah. In chapter 6, we hear the Shulamite say, her beloved is making sure that his garden is doing well. If she represents believers in Christ, we know that God is involved with other things that He has created. Now, the difference is that God is not like us. He is eternal. He was not created. Now, the Shulamite knows and understands that God is the one who empowers and supports her.
Song of Solomon, chapter 6, verses 1 through 13. The daughters of Jerusalem. Where has your beloved gone, O fairest among women? Where has your beloved turned aside that we may seek him with you? The Shulamite. My beloved has gone to his garden, to the beds of spices, to feed his flock in the gardens, and to gather lilies. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. He feeds his flock among the lilies. The beloved. O my love, you are as beautiful as Tirzah, lovely as Jerusalem, awesome as an army with banners. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep which have come up from the washing. Every one bears twins, and none is barren among them. Like a piece of pomegranate are your temples behind your veil. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. My dove, my perfect one, is the only one of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The daughters saw her and called her blessed, the queens and the concubines, and they praised her. Who is she who looks forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, awesome as an army with banners? The Shulamite. I went down to the garden of nuts to see the verdure of the valley, to see whether the vine had budded and the pomegranates had bloomed. Before I was even aware, my soul had made me as the chariots of my noble people. The beloved and his friends. Return, return, O Shulamite, return, return, that we may look upon you. The Shulamite. What would you see in the Shulamite? As it were, the dance of the two camps? Song of Solomon, chapter 6, verses 1 through 13.
Now, this is fascinating because we are coming upon the last part of the Song of Solomon, which is a playwright for the Bible. And, people say things to me like, the Bible, it's so long and it's so old. But then, you're in the Old Testament, you get into these playwrights. This is very dramatic. It's very good. God is revealing himself here, and Solomon has written it. And the Holy Spirit has included this in the Bible. And so as we read it, we've learned a lot about love. And it's interesting, and today, if there's ever a time and we need to learn about that, that's right now, today. Because marriage has just, I don't know what is going on in the human laws, but it's just messed up. But I know that the Bible has not changed for 3,500 years, and we're going to possess that. We're going to look at that. Now, if you want a Bible guide, you can write to us, our address in Canada, our address in the United States of America, or you can write to www.BibleDiscoveryTV.com. And you can give an offering in any amount and be a part of this and learn more with the Bible guide. In our steps of faith today, we learned that what do you see? What would you see? Now, this is important because as we read Song of Songs 6 through 8, this is the last part of this, we need to keep up in the Bible and we look at something in chapter 6, looking at Song of Songs, chapter 6, verses 1 to 13. As a matter of fact, Janice has read it for you, but let's look at it here. This is the daughters of Jerusalem. The daughters of Jerusalem. Where has your beloved gone, O fairest among women? Where has your beloved turned aside, that we may seek him with you? The Shulamite says, my beloved has gone to his garden, to the beds of his spices, to feed his flock in the gardens, and to gather lilies. And I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine, and he feeds his flock among the lilies. Now, this is fascinating because we belong to God and he belongs to us. That's absolutely true. We cannot fully understand the way the Lord works. We must know who he is and trust in him. Now, there's a reason that I say to you frequently, we must read the Bible. And that reason is, you have 1,000 reasons people do why they don't read the Bible. I got too many things on Facebook. I got too many things on Twitter. I got too many things on this, on that. And our phone is everything. There's 1 in 6 phones for every individual on the planet. That's ridiculous. And we all possess the phones and do all the things, but the Bible is the most valuable thing in our life. If we are believers in Jesus Christ, we need to know God, beloved. So we need to put the phone down, put Twitter away, and just spend 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day reading the Bible, understanding the personality of God. God desires to show us. Very important. We go on. And the beloved says, oh, my love, you are as beautiful as Tirzah, lovely as Jerusalem, awesome as an army of banners with banners. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep which have come up from the washing. Everyone bears twins, and none is barren among them. Like a piece of pomegranate are your temples behind your veil. And there are 60 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. And my dove, my perfect one, is the only one and the only one of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The daughters saw her and called her blessed, and the queens and the concubines, and they praised her. That is absolutely amazing, because when you think about the beloved saying that, that's intense. We are the workmanship of God. We are the workmanship of God, his unimaginable people. We must understand that we are God's workmanship. The Lord protects and builds us up. So many people are involved in talking about the law, talking about what you do and what you don't do. You don't come into that church with your hat on. You don't come in here dressed like that. You don't come. It's so important that we worship Jesus Christ, not laws, but Jesus Christ. That is so important, because the Lord Jesus Christ, he will do what is necessary for every individual. And we must listen to him, and we must understand what he's saying, because we, you, me, are his workmanship. Very important. We worship Jesus Christ. Well, it goes back and it says, "Who is she who looks forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, awesome as the army with banners?" And the Shulamite says, "I went down to the garden of nuts to see the venger of the valley, to see whether the vine had budded and the pomegranates had bloomed. Before I was even aware, my soul had made me as the chariots of my noble people." And the beloved and his friends say the following, "Return, return, O Shulamite! Return, return, that we may look upon you." And the Shulamite said, what would you see in the Shulamite? As it were, the dance of two camps. Which brings me to the closing point. We are the real work of God, the real work of God. His work is real and lets us know and understand that He is God. He is the Lord, and there is no other besides Him. And when we put our lives in His direction, we put our love in His direction, then He changes everything, and it is good.
Now, since we are being thrust right back into this time period and history of the kings of Israel and Judah, I want to take a look at some of the archaeological remains from these time periods. The time period of Israel, referred to as the time of the kings, used to be a very obscure and dark portion of time in our historical knowledge. But during the last half a century, the curtain has been pulled back, revealing to us the incredible accuracy the Bible seems to have. Merely one such example have been the many discoveries of official signet rings. Many of these rings are directly related to key men recorded in the Book of Kings in the Bible. Pekah's reign, who was king of northern Israel, is recorded in 2 Kings chapter 15. His signet ring from when he served as an officer has been found and identified. The existence of two of Israel's kings of Judah, Jotham and Ahaz, have been confirmed by several clay seal discoveries. One impression that would have officiated a document reads, "belonging to Ahaz, son of Jotham, king of Judah." An actual seal reads, "belonging to Ushna, servant of Ahaz." And two seal impressions from Ahaz's famed son read, "belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah." King Manasseh was famous for all the wrong reasons. He was a tyrant who probably ruled alongside his father before fully taking the throne. His seal, found from that time, reads, "belonging to Manasseh, son of the king." Seals and impressions have been found from the great time of religious reform during the reign of Josiah. We have identified the seals of High Priest Hilkiah, royal scribe Ahikam, and the scribe Baruch, who worked for the prophet Jeremiah. A few of these seals even preserve fingerprints. And these are just some of the documented seals.
We just want to say thank you to our partners who've helped us all get this far and continue to do so. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to us.
This month, we are able to send out the first DVD in our Biblical History and Archaeology segment library. These DVDs are topical collections of Corey's aired television segments to help you dig deeper into the Bible's past. This first DVD is entitled Genesis and Early History. Its 30 segments discuss how the Bible was recorded, compares ancient creation mythologies to Genesis, taking on the accusation that Genesis is a borrowed pagan myth. They survey the flood of Noah from a historical perspective and take listeners through the time of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All 30 segments strive to be informative and engaging, and while all have been seen previously on Quick Study Television, they are now available for the first time in a DVD collection. If you'd like to have this first DVD collection of 30 of Corey's television segments, we would love to send it to you. For a suggested donation of $25 or more, we'll send you this informative collection of 30 television segments. Make sure to write or call and ask for Biblical History and Archaeology Segment Library, Genesis and Early History.
Thank you for staying with us as we continue to go through the Bible in 1 year, and this is very exciting. In fact, next time on Quick Study Television, I'm going to be talking about the people of Israel who escaped are those who understood the gospel. What are we talking about? It's the Old Testament. We'll talk about it next time on Quick Study Television. Right now, Ryan is here. Ryan, what's up?
Well, you know, many Christians attempt to mesh the Big Bang Theory and the Bible together. But as we discovered last week, these two origin stories are diametrically opposed. And there's a good reason for that. The Big Bang Theory was developed to explain the universe without God. So Bible believers shouldn't accept this cosmology. Furthermore, today we're going to begin to see why even secular scientists are abandoning the Big Bang. Let's study. Due to the pressures of pop science, many Christians have attempted to mesh the Big Bang Theory with the Bible. However, the Big Bang Theory and the Bible clearly present diametrically opposing views about the origin of the universe and therefore should not be blended. Further, the Big Bang is a theory in crisis. Indeed, there are many scientific problems with this particular origin story, and Big Bang supporters are forced to accept, on blind faith, a number of notions that are completely inconsistent with real observational science. For example, particle physicists claim that many magnetic monopoles should have been created in the high temperature conditions of the Big Bang. A monopole is a hypothetical giant particle just like a magnet. However, as the name suggests, it only has one pole. Unfortunately for Big Bang enthusiasts, monopoles, though they would be stable enough to last to present day, have not been found anywhere. The fact that they are nowhere to be found suggests that the universe was never that hot. Another issue for the Big Bang is known as the flatness problem. Astrophysicist Dr. Jason Lisle explains, the expansion rate of the universe appears to be very finely balanced with the force of gravity. This condition is known as flat. If the universe were the accidental byproduct of a Big Bang, it is difficult to imagine how such a fantastic coincidence could occur. Big Bang cosmology cannot explain why the matter density of the universe isn't greater, causing it to collapse upon itself, or less, causing the universe to rapidly fly apart. The problem is even more severe when we extrapolate into the past. Since any deviation from perfect flatness tends to increase as time moves forward, it logically follows that the universe must have been even more precisely balanced in the past than it is today. With the laws of physics able to allow for an infinite range of values, this is statistically impossible. Though attempts have been made to solve the missing monopoles and flatness problems, such as inflation, this has been unsuccessful. Furthermore, even if inflation was able to solve these problems, there are many more issues with Big Bang cosmology, as will be soon explored. Therefore, it is wise if Bible believers do not adopt this extremely shaky theory. Now, as I said before, the Big Bang is a theory in crisis. Today we looked at just two of the many problems it has, and we'll look at two more next week. For these reasons, many scientists on both sides of the fence are completely abandoning it. So let's not try then to graft the Big Bang and the Bible together. Maybe let the Bible speak for itself. More next week.
That is excellent, Ryan.
Yes,
Excellent. Very,
very
very
good.
good. All right, now what did you study today?
Well, today we're taking a look at Song of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 13. It's the beloved and his friends, and they're saying, "Return, return, O Shulamite. Return, return, that we may look upon you." And her answer is, what would you see in the Shulamite? As it were, the dance of the two camps. Now, that word, two camps, in Hebrew is Mahanaim. That is the name of the place where Jacob and Esau's reconciliation took place. That's back in Genesis chapters 32 and 33. That is an appropriate parallel for the resolution of conflict between husband and wife. Now, the beloved here was using the illustration of God's love for Israel to illustrate his love for the Shulamite. Now, the people, what would you see in the Shulamite, were gazing at an illustration of the reconciliation God always wants to receive and to achieve with his people.
So this is interesting. I mean, this is all part of, the Mahanaim. What is it?
Mahanaim.
Mahanaim?
Mahanaim.
Mahanaim, okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good.
Means two camps.
Yeah, and that's where Esau and Jacob, they
Reconciled.
reconciled
That's right.
because Jacob wasn't sure.
That's right. So it just brings a little bit deeper meaning to what we're reading here
Right.
today.
So what would you see in me? You'd see the two camps where they reconciled. So that's what it meant to the people. Very good. Let's study on. One amazing reality of living for the Lord Jesus Christ is what we become. When we give our life to the Lord Jesus Christ and we let Him build us up to overcome sin's curse, people see and take note. We must remember that our life is not wasted with God. Our life grows with the Lord and we become stronger over time. When we realize this, we understand that everything matters. Even those who suffer in the latter stages of their life know and understand God's work, even though they may not remember it. It's the end of the program, and at the end of the program, I love to tell you the truth, and the truth is that this program is brought to you not by people, because people were responding to God. This program is brought to you by Jesus Christ, the Lord and the Savior. He came 2,000 years ago, lived a perfect life, died on the cross, and He rose again in the flesh. And He said, if you call on me and if you say, Lord, come and be my Lord, then I will change you and you will live forever. Do that today.